What does this say? Whose foot looks like brass and burnt in a furnace? Right? What race is that? Are we realizing what's happening? Are we realizing what's happening here? If you are going to apply this part of the passage as skin tone, you have to be consistent and apply this part of the passage as skin tone. I can simply ask this question. This question is asking, whose foot looks like brass and is burnt in a furnace? Let me ask this question. Whose head looks white like wool, as white as snow? This is the point. When you're being drilled and drilled and drilled, you know what? You're a victim. These people did X, Y, Z to you. No one's disputing that wrong has been done. No one's disputing that. Or let me just speak for myself. I'm not disputing that. But that doesn't mean you forsake truth. That doesn't mean you forsake truth. I don't mind going slow. Woolly hair, my friend. Let's look at the passage again. Let's look at the passage. Read with me. Listen to the book. His head. Touch your head. His head. This is all your head, from here to here and from here to here. This is all your head. His head and his hairs were white like wool. It doesn't say the hair of his head. Not in that way. Notice, his head and his hairs are white like wool. And this person here is saying woolly hair. If his hairs are white like wool, then his head has to be white like wool. And you know that doesn't make sense. And the moment you admit the truth that, you know what, yeah, that doesn't make sense, you have to let go of this faulty understanding, this faulty interpretation. This doesn't mean that you hate black people because you're being true to the text. This means you love God and you revere his word the way he desires you to. Be consistent. If you're not going to be consistent with the text, then you're just exposing yourself. This is very simple, easy to see. You're going to see over and over and over again the same argument from anyone. This person says, what? The white head is the light of God shining on him. Magnify who is the Son of God. You see, so notice what's happening here. Let's follow this. So Hebrew Israelites will have you believe, right, that this right here, his feet are like fine brass as they burn in a furnace. This is literally talking about his skin, they will say. But somehow, when it's talking about his head in the previous verse and hair being white like wool, as white as snow, somehow this is talking about something completely different. How are you consistently breaking down a passage of scripture which is one line to the next? That is not how you break down the Bible. Not if you are being true to the text. That is not how you are being true. That's not being true to the text. That's, you know what, this part of the verse 15, his feet are like brass. That helps my interpretation. But verse 14, his head and his hair is white like wool. That doesn't help my interpretation. I need to explain away the fact that John is saying, who saw Jesus, his head is white like wool, as white as snow. This is inconsistency. They've been spiritually neuralized. Because I will break down a simple argument like that and show you why this doesn't make any sense. You can't do that with the text. And it will just go over their head. And it will turn again to, you know what? This guy apparently hates black people. This guy doesn't know the Bible. Instead of dealing with what he's saying, consistently following that interpretation would mean Jesus's feet are brown and his head is white. But that doesn't help them in their interpretation. This is why most people who talk about this verse do not mention the fact it says his head. They will ignore it. They will ignore it.